Welcome back to the ICO Alert podcast. I'm your host, Mike Finch, COO and co-founder of ICO Alert. On today's podcast, we have two guests this time. Typically, we have an ICO or an STO, but switching it up a little bit, looking to give you guys some insight into the industry and a lot of the market uncertainty that's going on at this moment. So my two guests today are both what you would consider third parties in the industry. One, Michael Gord, works for MLG Blockchain. It's a company that he started. It's essentially a consulting company for projects that are looking to launch a token sale of any kind. So he assists on that front. The other person on the podcast is Gregory Hemmer. Gregory Hemmer, just like Michael, entrepreneurial, joined the space, started ICO Crow, which solves the problem of working with ICOs to ensure they get listed on all of the necessary ICO listing sites out there. So just like ICO Alert, there are others in the space like us who their goal is to provide users value and list these projects on their various sites, as I'm sure you know. So we talk all things market uncertainty. We talked a little bit about the new SEC guidance on Ethereum not being a security. We talk about the new project that they're launching together, CoinMailX, how targeted marketing and marketing in general is, affecting you as a listener or a user, as well as the various token sales that are out there. So I hope this is a nice change for you guys. Hope you enjoy the podcast. All right, guys. Well, really appreciate having you both on the podcast here today. I'm going to start and have you all introduce yourselves, give us a little idea as to how you got into the cryptocurrency or blockchain industry and what it is that you're doing today. Greg, if you want to start.
Sure. I've always been an entrepreneur, and I kind of consider myself an early adopter. When there's new technology that comes out, I usually get interested and intrigued by it. I love to learn more about new technology and see the potential effect it'll have on society and the future of our country and the earth. So obviously blockchain's a powerful and impactful technology that's rapidly expanding. It's very exciting to see. As an entrepreneur, I know that the best way to create a business is to solve problems. So I really wanted to solve a problem for companies in the blockchain industry and kind of work my way into becoming a part of the industry. I spoke with several CMOs of companies that were having an upcoming ICO and talked with them about what some of the issues they were facing were and how they were going about promoting their ICO, things like that. I found out actually that ICO listings are a great way these companies having an upcoming ICO are promoting their ICO. They're listing their ICO and advertising on sites such as yours, ICOalert.com, CoinGecko.com, etc. Except that the process of getting listed on those sites was quite time consuming. Right. And also they really had no way to negotiate the prices that they were paying to advertise on each site, et cetera, et cetera. So I formed ICOcrow.com, and today we're the only service in the industry focused solely on providing companies with an upcoming ICO the opportunity to allow us to list them on these sites in a streamlined way that's cost effective and time efficient. So today I'm working with companies that are having an upcoming ICO. We formed a partnership with MLG Blockchain and several other agencies and are now working to become the biggest marketing firm in the blockchain industry, not focused solely just on ICOs. We're also forming other services that will serve companies that are post-ICO, and also organizations that don't have a token themselves, such as conferences that are serving the blockchain industry, things like that. So that's where I'm at today. Everything's been really exciting. The industry's growing quickly, and definitely looking forward to the future.
Nice, man. And what about you, Michael?
So I started learning about blockchains in 2013 when it was just about only Bitcoin, and I started going down the rabbit hole more and more until I was completely convinced that digital currencies and blockchains were the most exciting technology of our generation. So I started wanting to tell all of my friends about it. And then I started the cryptocurrency club at my university to connect with the other students on campus who are interested in digital currencies and blockchains, and to create a platform that all of us could use to get more involved in the industry. I was really lucky. The Bitcoin Embassy, which was the first physical location to advocate for digital currencies and blockchains, was in Montreal, a couple blocks from where I lived. So I started collaborating with the Bitcoin Embassy on organizing events to introduce digital currencies to students at McGill and Concordia and across Montreal, such as Bitcoin airdrops. And then I started to help my friends at other universities start their Bitcoin or blockchain or fintech clubs, and started to join forces under the name Bitcoin Canada. But when we started to focus more on developing applications and working with the blockchain, I created MLG Blockchain to help enterprises understand and adopt the blockchain and be able to develop internal expertise on how to work with the blockchain. And then we started to focus on providing end-to-end solutions to execute token sales. We started to work on more and more token sales until we got specialized teams in each part of the execution process.
Nice.
And then after token sales have completed, we like to stay involved and help develop the product or continue to make enterprise partnerships or exchange listing and market making. Essentially, our thoughts with tokens are that if there's a strong global network that is advocating or that is enthusiastic about the project, then they're bringing more people into the community. They're bringing developers, and people start to build applications on the network. And if there's a strong community, it makes it easy to connect with enterprises and to list on exchanges, because really everyone is looking for a stronger community. Yeah, and it's great to be able to offer everything in-house. It's great to partner with other groups like ICO Crow and ICO Alert to be able to help our clients with listings and everything that you guys provide.
Nice. Yeah, you guys, I think, have an interesting perspective. Like many of the folks here at ICO Alert, you both are younger entrepreneurs. You found the space more or less organically, and have kind of, come in, solved different problems that you've seen in the space, moved over to focus on the token sale space, ICO space, whatever you want to call it, right? But as many of our listeners know, and as the three of us know, there's a lot of market uncertainty out there right now. There was some good news, I think it was yesterday, from the SEC, but the price is still much lower than it was earlier this year. And as far as steps forward with regulation or, development, infrastructure is a big piece that we always talk about on these podcasts. There's still a lot of uncertainty. So I want to get each of your perspectives, Greg, to you, for you to start here again. What do you see as the main reason or main reasons behind a lot of this market uncertainty, as many are calling it?
To start, I think a lot of the reason for the market uncertainty is that the market is very young, and there's a not clear regulation on blockchain in every country today. We've seen countries such as South Korea say they're banning all blockchains, and then they come back and allow certain blockchains to be traded in their country. The SEC has begun to form some regulation on it. I know that the state of New York attempted to create a blockchain bill, which hasn't actually done much for the market. So hopefully we can get to a point where investors are comfortable investing in the tokens, and not just investing, but also using the utility tokens, etc., and being comfortable with the fact that they're not going to be attacked by the SEC or their government for investing in or using the tokens. And I'd also like to see some clear direction in the market. We know we have an innovative technology, and there are some strong use cases emerging that the technology is being used for. But kind of every day we have companies saying they're creating a blockchain technology or a token that will be used for their service. And we don't really know what the major impact blockchain is going to have on the world is. It could be a country's currency. It could be like Ripple's use case, where it avoids cross-border transfer of payments for fees regarding that. It could be the CEO of FedEx at Consensus mentioned the use of blockchain for avoiding excessive fees, transferring packages between countries. But I think once much larger Fortune Fortune 100 organizations are consistently implementing blockchain technology into their products and services. And there's clear direction of the market as well as regulation. I think pricing will be less volatile and there will be much more certainty in the market.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's a combination of some further regulatory guidance, but also, that more mainstream adoption that everybody talks about. Greg, do you see projects out there that are primed to achieve that mainstream adoption, either currently or just out of ICO, or maybe ones that have had an ICO past months, or cryptocurrencies that have been around for a long time? What are you seeing in your position as far as a project that is primed for that mainstream adoption?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a few exciting projects currently on the market today. Tron is definitely one of those projects that is consistently working to grow their technology and farther make advancements in the market. Definitely looking forward to seeing what they're able to achieve. I recently came across a company who has an upcoming ICO called Phantom, and they've innovated the way their blockchain technology works, where they've created a technology called the Opera Chain, where instead of processing one block at a time, they utilize the Opera Chain to process multiple blocks at a time. With their technology, they're going to be able to minimize transaction times and have infinite scalability, where as more people in the world use it and as more nodes participate in the network, it'll become a technology where you can go out to a store and purchase something and aren't going to have to sit at the counter for 10 minutes waiting for your transaction to process. Right. It looks like at the moment they're achieving 300,000 transactions per second on their network, so that's definitely an exciting project. And then also projects such as Bazant and Distributed Credit Chain look to be exciting as well, and definitely something the ICO Alert podcast listeners should stay on top of.
Nice, that's great. 300,000 transactions. That's nuts. Phantom, we'll certainly have to check that out. Michael, what about you? What are your reasons behind a lot of this market uncertainty? Regulations, obviously the biggest one, but what else are you seeing at MLG?
Yeah, so I think that there's some short-term market trends that are causing the uncertainty, such as the hack of the exchange in Korea and the global regulation uncertainty. But I think the biggest reason on why we've seen a downtrend over the past few months is because we saw such a ridiculous hype cycle beforehand that everything went multiples of the initial valuation, and we're still just correcting to a point that I think we're at or going to be at soon. Hopefully that, because if you look at the average of the price of Bitcoin and the whole cryptocurrency market, you take out the few crazy spikes and crashes, it looks like a standard innovation trend, and it's just getting into the part where it starts to tip. And then I think because it went up so much and started to go down, the going down caused the fear and the uncertainty that caused more people to sell, more people to write off digital currencies is something that's not going to exist ever. And then it kind of creates a snowball effect. But meanwhile, we're seeing a huge uptrend in exchange or in OTC transactions, like digital currency trades off exchanges. So I think there's actually a huge increase in volume and demand. It's just off chain. And I'm really excited that I thought that we were gonna have this podcast while it was only going down. As Greg mentioned, it's really good that the other day yesterday the SEC mentioned that Ether is not going to be considered a security, and Galaxy Digital just made a $15 million investment into Alpha Point today. So we're starting to see some bearish signs back in.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of tough times there for sure. Bitcoin just kept going down. Ether kept going down, which is a primary, driver to the market as a whole, as we know. So Bitcoin goes up, the rest of the market seems to go up. Bitcoin goes down, the rest of the market seems to go down. there's definitely some correlation there. With this uncertainty, Michael, how have you guys seen it affecting the ICO market and some of the clients that you guys are working with?
Yeah, so I'm sure both of you have had a similar experience with the changes in how we're able to market for tokens, structured token sales, and the laws changing in each gen. We've needed to consistently change our strategies for how we are able to get enough exposure and awareness for our clients that we're able to fill up their white lists and do well in their token sales. So like we saw a couple weeks ago the Facebook ban, and then the AdWords ban, and then the MailChimp ban, and it's very possible that other mainstream social networks like LinkedIn and Twitter and maybe Instagram also have digital currency and token sale bans. So we've had to react very quickly, which is an interesting challenge. But we've found a lot of good contingency strategies that allow us to still get the number of impressions and awareness that are required to close the whitelist, such as working with groups like Greg and the ICO Crow team. And doing the ICO listings on websites like ICO Alert and all the others, because it's a great way of driving very targeted traffic to people that are looking at token sales.
Yeah, 100%. And the keyword targeted, I think, is an important one. With the kind of informal SEC guidance, if you want to call it that came out yesterday. They certainly said Ether was not a security, but they did go a little bit further to say kind of what would be considered a security in the future. Again, this isn't written into law yet, but it seems like every month we get another couple statements, baby steps from the SEC to where we all think we might be in the near future if we ever get some formal strict guidance on these projects. One of those in regards to targeted marketing was that a project, a token sale, a security token offering, whatever you want to call it, the way that they market to an audience is going to be important for how they're considered within SEC guidance, right? Whether they're a security, whether they're not a security, and the SEC really leaned towards that targeted marketing. They're looking for projects to market towards folks who actually could be considered to use the token for its utility, not just to buy it in hopes that the price will appreciate and they could sell it in the future, thus considering it a security. So, Greg, with targeted marketing, I know you had mentioned earlier you guys have partnered with MLG Blockchain. What are some of the things that you guys are doing together to, kind of target the right people, ensure that those users out there who are currently or in the future will be using a lot of these brand new utility tokens? What is it that you guys are doing together?
Well, there's many things that come into play when reaching a target market. Of course, we want to take into consideration the actual target market we need to understand what our clients' target markets are by understanding the demographics of who they're trying to reach, specific to age, location, gender, etc. Then we can work with our partnered websites to get an understanding of their traffic information and platforms we're featuring our clients' projects on. So with ICO Crow, partnered with 16 of the top websites in the industry who are receiving traffic from 6 to 7 figures per month. And we'll take a look at where that traffic is coming from. And once we have an understanding of our client's target market and matching that with their budget and our partners' traffic, we can then identify the best platforms to feature our clients' upcoming token sales on. That way, with the way analytics work on the internet today, it's very easy to exactly specify where traffic's coming from and demographics regarding the traffic. So digital marketing is definitely a very effective way We're also working on forming a very exciting joint venture called CoinMailX, where many of the largest organizations in the blockchain industry are coming together to form CoinMailX, which is going to be a database of the largest email newsletter in the world. This is going to allow blockchain organizations to share current trending information with blockchain industry, and also allow people who are interested in blockchain to stay up to date with the most current and recent news in the world. So a very exciting project we're working on there. And obviously email marketing is another way for companies to target who they're marketing to very well. I do want to say it's quite unfortunate that the SEC is trying to label general marketing as a sign of a security rather than a utility token, because if you think about the way marketing works in the world, I mean, you can grow your company by continuing to market to your current customers and upselling them and increasing their loyalty to your brands. But the only way to gain new customers is either via referrals from your current customer user base, or by getting to people who don't know that they currently have a need for your product or service. So by restricting these utility tokens from actually marketing to potential customers who don't know they will have a need for their technology now or in their future, the SEC is actually limiting them from growing their company, growing the market, and essentially farther growing America's GDP. Definitely unfortunate to see that the SEC has made statements from that point of view, but it's okay. There's a lot of innovative ways, as I mentioned, to reach a target market, and ICO Crow as well as CoinMailX are two of those opportunities companies have today to reach their target market in the blockchain industry.
Right. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the SEC handles this. The guidance, the points, the comments, they continue to come out, but they seem to still be handling everything on a case-by-case basis. So the way I see it progressing is that we will get more firm and formal guidelines, and then I really don't see how the SEC can handle this at 100% rate, meaning that there will be marketing that's going on that it is not so super targeted to a current audience. It's going to do exactly what, like you said, marketing is supposed to do, and bringing in new users, right? Educating people on blockchain technology and token sales and cryptocurrency in general. So it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. Mike, do me a favor, give me and the listeners here a little more information as to what they can expect through this new partnership between MLG and ICO Crow through CoinMailX. What's a typical email that they would be receiving so that they can get a better idea as to whether or not they might want to sign up?
So there's a bunch of stuff that ICO Crow and MLG are going to be working on, all boiling down to providing alternative strategies to reach large audiences, even in the wake of the changing regulatory landscape. So we're coming up with innovative strategies to help our clients receive the awareness and traffic that they need to have people hear about the cool stuff that's going on with their team. CoinMailX is the email strategy, and similar to ICO Crow, there's a huge emails to blockchain enthusiasts and cryptocurrency investors is a huge marketing channel to have in any integrated marketing campaign. And for anyone that's just entering the blockchain industry that doesn't necessarily have an existing database of blockchain enthusiasts, it can be very hard to coordinate a list of people that are interested in blockchains, and that they should provide information about their blockchain project and what they're working on. So we've coordinated a list with more than 5 million people.
Wow.
All over the world that our clients will be able to reach people in different geographies and with different interests to be able to use as one of their strategies to be able to reach an audience that is interested in blockchains and invests into digital currencies.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't mind me jumping in here, Mike, I think one of the most important things for your listeners to know is that in the media today, every day you will see headlines that are attention-grabbing headlines, and the news you see in the media today might not always be real. That's why on social media, we've seen a huge trend regarding fake news. And in the blockchain industry today, with it being such a young industry, many times you'll see new media outlets popping up every day who aren't industry experts and are just kind of writing about things they hear as they go.
Right.
The validity of the news might not always be 100%, but one thing about CoinMailX and all of the partnerships MLG and ICO Crow and our network of organizations are forming is that anytime one of your listeners receives news from CoinMailX or any of our organizations, it's always going to be truthful, honest, and something that will provide value to them. So I'm very excited for CoinMailX. That's the next step in the partnership between our organizations.
Nice.
If your listeners are interested in signing up, coinmailx.com is the domain name. We're moments away from launching the website where they can enter in their email and they'll receive the newsletter approximately once a week, only with valid, useful information that will help them for the future.
Nice. That's great, guys. Yeah, cool to see two folks, two entrepreneurs in the industry coming together to solve more problems. I want to switch gears here a little bit. I know we've been talking about ICOs and the way they market to users and various audiences out there, but there are new funding models popping up every day, it seems, especially because of this regulatory uncertainty. The one that's been hot was at Consensus and World Blockchain Forum, and has been at a variety of other conferences and variety of other headlines, is a security token offering, or an STO. And you have large organizations that are kind of betting it all that this will be the next wave of crypto fundraising, as you might call it. Security token offering is essentially, for those who don't know, an ICO that from a regulatory standpoint comes out and says, hey, we are a security 100%. The regulatory bodies should treat us as a security, and we are abiding by necessary security laws. So, Greg, if I could get some thoughts from you on the STO and even airdrop funding models that are now starting here, and kind of what your perspective has been from the lens that you're looking through over at ICO Crow.
Yeah, I think definitely the fact that an STO is getting its own label and companies are kind of going out from the start and announcing that they're a security is fantastic. I think that'll move forward with pressuring governments to work on regulation and proceed with things on from a regulatory standpoint. I also think STOs cater more towards a specific market, whereas an ICO, anyone with $100 or a couple Ethereum can go and invest in an ICO. I think an STO is going to be focused more towards the family office and high net worth individuals who are able to fund larger amounts of the company and buy larger securities. I think that it won't be something that, as I mentioned, any old college kid looking for a get-rich-quick scheme is going to be invested in, and it'll be something more towards the accredited U.S. investor or investors worldwide who are experienced in the investment industry and have an experience of making investments.
So bringing in more of that institutional money, right? And we've even seen some projects that are now coming out and they're coming to us and saying, okay, we're running an STO, we'd like to be listed on the site, but then we're also running, an ICO for a utility token past the STO, or we're running an airdrop for the utility token once the STO has been secured. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it develops. I don't think we're there yet with the STO kind of landscape. The airdrop model is one that seems to be moving along quite a bit quicker, where basically an ICO project will raise money through, say, more of a pre-ICO round or more of a private sale round, where they can choose better as to the folks they want to invest in their project. They can set larger contribution amounts, but then use an airdrop to still bring in that user base that they want testing out their new applications or their new protocols, or whatever it is that they're working on at the time. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see. I think a lot of the larger venture capitalists will get involved in STOs. I think kind of ICOs is more towards the Kickstarter, more focused towards the Kickstarter market, where people are giving money to companies in an ICO. That those are organizations that the supporters they're supporting their company. They believe in their technology and would like to hopefully use it in the future. So they're giving what they can to be able to see this technology become a reality and be able to use the technology for themselves and benefit it from some way in the future. Whereas security token offering is more focused towards replacing venture capitalism, and we'll see some of these larger offices start to get involved in funding and getting a piece of equity in the company and seeing a larger return on their investment.
Right. Yeah, I think there's room for everybody, honestly. I think the way that ICOs will function will change radically because of regulation and because of competition from STOs or other crypto fundraising methods that we have yet to see today. It seems like every 3 months something new is popping out, and it's interesting to hear both of your perspectives. So on that note, I think we wrap it up here. Last thing I want to do is give some more information on how people can get a hold of MLG blockchain. Maybe you're out there, you're thinking of launching an ICO. It's you and a handful of friends, and you want to take the leap into the cryptocurrency industry, or try to raise money for a concept or some software that you've been developing, and just really don't know how, or you're already there and you've done it, and you need to know the next step forward from a marketing standpoint, and need help kind of to ensure that you are able to run the best fundraiser possible. Michael and then Greg, what's the best way to get a hold of each of your individual companies?
The best way to reach out is by email, michael@mlgblockchain.com, or Twitter is I'm pretty active on at BitGord.
Nice.
Yeah, if you'd ever like to get in touch with myself or anyone at ICO Crow, can reach out to me directly at greg@icocrow.com. Can also reach me on LinkedIn at the company profile, which is linkedin.com/company/ICO Crow.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. Great to get some different perspective on the industry, some of the uncertainty. Really excited to see where CoinMailX goes. And really appreciate the time.
Great. Thank you as well, Mike. We appreciate you as well as your listeners' time today. Thank you.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for having us. Listeners, thanks for listening, and excited about everything that's happening moving forward.
ICO Alert maintains the only trusted comprehensive list of pre-ICOs and initial coin offerings. This Pittsburgh-based startup has grown to serve over 1 million users in less than a year. But how did it get started? Well, at first, the company was just an online tool for two brothers, Mike and Rob Finch, to keep a calendar of their favorite ICOs. After just a few months, the team has grown to over 14 team members and produced hundreds of ICO reports. These in-depth reports feature exclusive interviews and offer insight into past, active, and future ICOs. Head on over to ICOalert.com, meet the team, and use their game-changing My Portfolio function. Track your favorite blockchain projects. Become your own venture capitalist. Only at ICOalert.com.